What's good, everyone? It's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a quick look at the newly released Nike GT Cut Academy. So really quickly, I did want to take a very brief look at the Nike GT Cut Academy. So basically, this is a budget-friendly model. It does retail for the price of $95 USD, $125 here in Canada. It is kind of a budget model from the Nike GT Cut line. It's the first of its kind here from Nike. So without further ado, let's check them out. So starting at the bottom of the shoe right here, you do have a solid outsole. Here in the forefoot, it is red, and then here at the heel, it is kind of like an off-white. And as far as the traction pattern goes, you do have this herringbone traction pattern. It is pretty closely knit together. So from my initial try on, these seem very squeaky on my hardwood floor, and they just stick to the floor like glue. So I am very interested to see how these perform on court. Here on the medial side, it does wrap up nicely on the side of the shoe to offer some extra traction when you are kind of making those hard cuts. And just overall, I think this is going to be a very reliable and tried and true traction because herringbone just does not seem to miss when Nike does offer it in a solid outsole. One thing I do have to mention is that this outsole rubber compound is very firm to the touch, so I do think you could bring this outdoors and it would last pretty nicely as far as outdoors on kind of the concrete grounds. Indoors, I think they're going to perform great, but we will have to wait and see in the full performance review. But like I mentioned, you do get a full length herringbone traction pattern in the forefoot and in the heel. As far as the cushioning setup that you do get here in the Nike GT Cut Academy, now the foam compound here on the midsole is Renew foam. It is a very budget-friendly foam compound, but after the initial break-in from my previous experience, it does become very bouncy and soft, but it does bottom out over time. Now there is another foam compound here at the bottom of the shoe towards the forefoot, and that seems to be a Lunarlon foam. So again, very soft and plush underfoot, but this compound of foam, or the dual compound of foam, will bottom out over time. But what can you expect from a $95 basketball shoe? Now where it does get a little bit nicer here is in the forefoot. You do have kind of a large volume zoom airbag kind of running north to south, and it's directly under the ball of your forefoot. So you will get a nice spring back under your forefoot, but it is bottom loaded. So you do have foam under your insole and then the zoom bag. So it will take some time to break in, especially from my initial try on, you couldn't really feel it. But from previous people's videos here on YouTube, I have seen that it does break in over time. So overall, the cushioning setup is very basic and budget friendly, but what can you expect from a cheap basketball shoe? I am looking forward to getting these on court because all things considered, for the price point of $95, I think they're going to perform great. As far as the fit goes on these guys right here, I did go with my standard size 10.5, and they offer a very snug 1-to-1 fit. So my toe is basically right here at the end of the shoe. And honestly, they fit a little bit snugger in the forefoot, especially compared to the GT Cut 3s. I found those to be a little bit more roomy in the forefoot. These definitely feel a little bit more snug. So if you like a thumb's width, or if you are a wide footer, as you can see, they are pretty narrow, I would recommend going up half a size. If you have a standard foot or like a very snug 1-to-1 fit, I think going true to size, you should be good to go, because I went with my standard size 10.5, and the fit is very snug, the lockdown is great, and I enjoyed them from my initial try on. But as far as the materials go on the GT Cut Academy, starting at the back of the shoe, you do have this synthetic heel counter right here. It is a synthetic leather material. And then moving your way forward from that, you do have this mesh material that is very cheap and just really nothing special at all. It does run into the forefoot here, and it does seem like it's going to take some time to break in because it does seem pretty firm to the touch. And then right here on the medial side near the toe, you do have this fuse rand right here that does offer some extra durability and support. And then wrapping around the eye stay right here, again, you do have that synthetic leather material that is just offering kind of a nicer touch here on the GT Cut Academy. On the tongue, you do have a pretty nicely padded foam material here at the top, and then mesh here running through the bottom. So overall, it is a very cheap setup, but again, $95, you can basically buy 2 of these for the price of one Nike GT Cut 3. So I think Nike really made a budget-friendly shoe that a ton of parents are really going to enjoy for their kids, and that kids will really enjoy the overall performance on these. So as far as the materials go, again, nothing special, but a very budget-friendly model that looks the part. But as far as the support goes, you do have a TPU internal heel counter here at the back. It's very rigid, and it's going to do a great job at locking your foot in at the back of the shoe here. Moving your way down from that, you do have this lateral kind of rubber that does wrap up the side of the shoe here on the lateral side. So on any hard lateral cuts, that should help aid your foot in preventing it from spilling over the side of the shoe, So you do have that rubber that does wrap up the side. And then at the bottom of the shoe, you have a pretty wide and stable base here at the forefoot, not so much at the heel. And then it does flare out right here on the lateral side to prevent your foot from teetering over. There actually is no shank plate within the shoe, so you don't have a shank plate for the midfoot, but that Zoom bag in the forefoot does offer some decent support here. But again, for a budget-friendly model, what can you expect? I think the overall support features that it does offer will be adequate for most play styles, especially for kids. So as far as the support goes, it does seem to offer a very nice lockdown fit, and then some decent lateral containment. So again, we'll have to see how these perform on court, but from my initial try on, the support seems very nice in the Nike GT Cut Academy. As far as the weight goes on the Nike Zoom GT Cut Academy, again, this is a US size 10.5, and they do come in at 12.55 ounces. So all things considered, for my size, this is a pretty lightweight basketball shoe from Nike. So that's going to do it for today's video on the Nike Zoom GT Cut Academy. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of these guys right here. As far as the aesthetics go, I actually really like the way this shoe looks. It's nothing overly striking. It's a very budget-friendly, kind of basic design, but I think Nike did hit the nail on the head as far as the design features go on this shoe right here. Kind of taking parts of the Nike Zoom GT Cut 3 and offering it here on a very cheap basketball shoe. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think of these, if you guys have got them on court yet. Again, keep it locked to my channel for the full performance review of the Nike Zoom GT Cut Academy. As always, if you guys can like, comment, and subscribe, that does help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.